Welcome to Rogers Center. It is a gorgeous Sunday afternoon. This is the final game of the homestand, the final of the 4-game series. Kansas City won the first two. Blue Jays won yesterday, so fair. Take a look at the lineup for Ned Yost Kansas City Royals. Hey, Yoki Escobar Hosmer, and then Billy Butler, the cleanup man. He's the DH. He's had good numbers against Mark Burley in an extensive amount of at-bats. He's 22 for 63 with 3 homers, 17 RBIs. Mike Moustakas is just back from AAA Omaha. He was sent down to Omaha for 10 days. He just wasn't hitting. For the season, Moustakas has really had a bad start to his year, but he went down and swung the bat well, and today he'll handle Mark Burley.
Mark Burley, the 35-year-old lefty, is making his 52nd career start against the Royals. In his last 8, he's been 4-1 with 6 quality starts.
Noriaoki takes one upstairs. Burley threw that first pitch at 107. He didn't throw his first warm-up pitch till 12:47. He was late going to the bullpen and literally ran to the bullpen, stood outside on the warning track, and threw a few pitches before he went inside. It was great. Aoki checks his swing, and Burley's ahead 1-2. 15 degrees here this afternoon, and it is a gorgeous day and a full crowd coming in. Breaking ball, tap back to Burley. 1 down. 4-time Gold Glover made an easy play of it. Let's look at the outfield defense. Melky Cabrera, Anthony Gose, Jose Bautista in the outfield. Juan Francisco's at third, Reyes and Laurie up the middle, Encarnacion back at first base after serving as the DH yesterday, and Dioner Navarro always catches Mark Burley very well.
Anthony Gose gets back-to-back starts here with the righty Guthrie going today. He had a rough day yesterday despite the rest of his lineup enjoying success at the plate. See if Anthony can get it going today.
Breaking ball on the outside corner. Omar Infante got the day off yesterday. Infante played the first 2 games, and then Ned Yost, not wanting him to play 4 straight on the artificial surface, gave him the day off. He shoots this one into right. This is trouble. It bounces in fair territory and bounces out of play into the seats. Omar Infante with a ground rule double.
Omar Infante does this so well. That pitch away, this is the type of approach you need to have against Mark Burley on the outer corner of the plate, but he stays with that ball, does not do too much. And Omar Infante made sure he ran today. He had a little miscue the other day where he flipped one down the right field line. Didn't know where the ball went, thought it was in the seats, foul.
Bautista threw him out at first base. Happened in the 7th inning of Friday night's game. Eric Hosmer takes the first pitch strike from Burley. Hosmer had an infield hit yesterday. He was 1 for 4 in that ball game. Blue Jays trying to split to 4 games with Kansas City. The Royals snapped the Blue Jays 9-game win streak on Thursday night. Foul back. Hosmer in this series just 2 for 14, so Burley's had a good look at what might work against Eric Hosmer in the first 3 games. There's a fly ball to the left. Melky Cabrera comes in a couple of steps, 2 down. Mark Burley has been on a roll. He is 9-1 this season, but this roll goes back even to the middle of last summer.
Well, Burley just defines the art of pitching. He really just works the ball in and out, changes speeds, and he's been doing it the latter part of last year, and of course we've seen it for 2 months now this year. He gets hitters to chase pitches that are just off the plate. Omar Infante's double down the line there is a great piece of hitting. You just don't see that too much off of Mark Burley, and he takes advantage of hitters' aggressiveness with his off-speed pitches.
Here's a problem for Burley, has been throughout his career. Billy Butler. Butler has a .349 career average against Mark Burley. He is 22 for 63, a lot of at-bats against Burley.
And I'll bet Mark Burley's smart enough to not let Billy Butler beat him in this situation.
There's that changeup and gets the call. Veteran umpires Larry Vanover behind the plate. There are the numbers we talked about. Billy Butler against Mark Burley. Burley's made more starts against the Royals than any other ball club.
And if Mark Buehrle continues to get that call from Vanover off the plate, he'll have a lot of success today.
2-1. Left-handed hitting Alex Gordon is on deck, and you can bet Burley's well aware of that.
And that's what Buehrle will do to you right there. He'll go away off the plate and then run that cutter back inside, using both sides of the plate very effectively.
Bounced in the dirt, now 3-1. Buehrle understands who he wants to pick his fights with.
Absolutely, and numbers don't lie, and he's very aware of his numbers against Billy Butler.
I got that fastball on the outside corner. Looked like Butler had an off-speed pitch in his mind.
Well, and that's the way Mark Buehrle would usually approach him. And what Buehrle does is, because he can throw all of his pitches for strikes at any time in the count, you really can't sit on a pitch.
Full count, 2 outs. Ground ball. Reyes waits it short, takes his time. The inning is over. The 1-out double doesn't matter. They'll go to the bottom of the first. Mark Buehrle. Jeremy Guthrie goes to the mound for the Royals. Home streak. They stand 7-2 so far. Top of the order, Jose Reyes. Then the number 2 man is Melky Cabrera, and against Jeremy Guthrie, he's hit .351 for his career. 5 doubles, a home run. He's driven in 8 against the Royals right-hander, and then in the 5th spot today, Guthrie also has problems with Edwin Encarnacion. 12 for 32. He's hit 4 doubles and 2 home runs against Jeremy Guthrie. Jeremy Guthrie has given up 12 home runs to the American League hitters so far this season, and the Blue Jays, of course, are the best home run hitting club in baseball.
Well, the 35-year-old Guthrie is making his 11th start of the year. Last time out against Houston, he took the loss despite going 6 innings, giving up just 1 earned run. He's given up just 1 earned run in each of his last 2 outings, but in his last 9 starts, 2.9 run support average. It's the lowest in the American League. So Guthrie's looking to continue doing what he's doing, but somehow get his offense to help him out a little bit.
Trying to hold the Blue Jays hitters in check until his club can figure out Mark Buehrle. Jose Reyes went 1 for 4 in the game yesterday. Takes that first pitch outside. There's a high fly ball into shallow left field. Alex Gordon is there, and Reyes is retired. Alex Gordon has played all but 4 innings in left field this season. Lorenzo Cain back in center field, and Noriega gives him right. Mike Moustakas, fresh back with the team after a stint 10 days in Omaha. Escobar Infante up the middle. The Gold Glover Eric Hosmer at first. Sal Perez, also a Gold Glover, back behind the plate today.
Well, Moustakas is back at home. He has his job back after being optioned down to AAA. He's got his job back. He went down there, did a good job with the bat, and Danny Valencia was injured, so he's back at his home at third base.
Valencia went on the DL after last night's game, and they recalled Mike Moustakas. Melky Cabrera, average at .309. It's just over 270 for the month of May. We saw his numbers drop a bit.
He set the bar pretty high in that month of April.
Well, he sure did. He got off to a great start. Was always among the leaders in hits for the month of April. Changeup is fouled back. What should the Blue Jays look for from Jeremy Guthrie?
Jeremy Guthrie is going to be around the plate. He's pitching to contact. He's not going to strike a ton of guys out, so they're just looking for balls over the middle of the plate. He gives up home runs. Batting averages have gone down a bit, but he still will make mistakes in the middle of the plate.
He's always thrown a lot of strikes, and he throws a pretty straight fastball, and that's what led to those home run numbers. He's given up 12 home runs this year. That's tied with David Price for the most home runs surrendered. Melky gets to a pretty good pitch down and away. Fastball hit it on the ground. Playing him up the middle, and Cabrera grounds out to short. 2 down. Jeremy Guthrie has given up fewer hits, but more home runs. You see the opponent's batting average in 2013 at 285. He's dropped that number to 258, which is respectable, but the home runs have spiked this year.
Which means he's probably getting some more movement on his fastball and getting more ground balls like we just saw right there from Cabrera, so the average is down, but he's still making enough mistakes because he's in the strike zone so much.
Jose Bautista. Well, he's had a good month. Pushed that average up to 310. Jose hit 6 home runs in the month of May. See Guthrie with that very exaggerated lower half turn, and watch how he really gets into this pitch.
He's worked with pitching coach Dave Island on that little twist. You see that little torque, and he's just really trying to generate more force, trying to get more movement on his fastball, and it's helped him with that 2-seamer. When you give up a lot of home runs and that ball is pretty flat, you've got to look for other advantages to try to get more movement on the baseball.
3-1. 3-1 changeup, and Bautista was fooled, and you could see he was expecting something harder.
When you look for a fastball in your Jose Bautista, he doesn't just try to finesse it to right field. He's trying to come out of his shoes, and it's not the pitch he's looking for. That's why good hitters can look bad in certain situations.
Lind is on deck. All 4. Guthrie thought it might have caught the outside corner, but Bautista will take another walk. So that's what the Blue Jays do. They make you work. They'll work the count. They'll work the strike zone. Bautista's thinking about going to second. He was walking towards second, and nobody was paying attention to him. And Moustakas finally got Guthrie's attention, hollered at him, and Guthrie steps off the mound and stops Bautista.
Jose Bautista's always looking for an edge, always trying to gain 90 feet. You see the shortstop Escobar down fixing his socks, get everybody with their heads down, putting the shift on. Moustakas was the only one that caught that.
2 outs, Adam Lind. Lind had a 3-for-5 day yesterday, scored 4 runs and drove in a pair. Lind takes more first pitches than most people. He is 3rd in the fewest swings at first pitches in the majors.
And you saw that right there. There was no intent, especially first at bat. He's just coming up trying to get a look at the first pitch.
He swings at the first pitch only 7% of the time. He wants to see what he's dealing with.
And hitters have a game plan. Adam Lind wants to see, especially your first time up. And when you do that, you're going to see more pitches. But what that shows me a confident hitter. He's not afraid to go down 0-1 if the first pitch is a strike, because he's comfortable with the way he's swinging the bat.
Ball and a strike, 2 outs. Jeremy Guthrie was originally drafted by the Cleveland Indians as a first-round pick in 2002. Drafted out of Stanford University. He signed with Cleveland and eventually will be claimed off of waivers by the Orioles in 2007. He had a couple of different short stints with the Indians, 2004, 2005, and 2006, and played the big leagues for the first time as a regular in 2007 in Baltimore. Two balls and two strikes. Sal Perez back behind the plate. The young catcher is really a good leader.
And some catchers will use a series of signs despite not having a runner on second base, and sometimes that comes from the pitcher with the advent of all the television cameras now, and they don't just want to put a 2 down for a curveball or a 1 for a fastball.
Changeup lifted down the right field line, and Aoki over, but it's going to be out of play. Yeah, catchers and pitchers will always try to camouflage those signals. You never know who's watching.
And that's normal with the runner on second base, because you don't want that runner to be out there for a number of pitches and see the sequence, and they can eventually figure it out and relay that sign to the hitter. They can put a hand on their helmet for a fastball or 2 hands for a off-speed pitch. But with the runner on first base only, you don't normally see that. This is just extra precaution on their part.
Full count. Edwin Encarnacion is waiting on deck. John Gibbons has used Lynn to split up the two right-handers, Bautista and Encarnacion. It's been very effective.
Well, it certainly helps, especially later in the game. The opposing manager wants to bring a lefty out of the bullpen. You break them up.
And fouls it off, and Bautista will return to first.
If you want to bring a lefty in to face Lind, he's also going to have to face Edwin before he faces Francisco. If you want to bring a righty in, then John Gibbons says, go ahead, burn those arms down there. Yeah, and it could make you use 2 pitchers for 3 batters, and that's exactly what the goal is. Another full count. Bautista will be off on the pitch. There he goes. Another foul back. Jeremy Guthrie getting it up there around 95 miles per hour. A little more than his average, possibly rearing back a little bit there with 3-2 count on Adam Lind. Lind really spreads the defense thin. He had a pair of doubles, 1 to right center, 1 to left center. Another foul back. Jose Bautista is getting some sprint work in over at first base. Well, batting practice was optional for the Blue Jays today, and Bautista kind of shown Lind didn't take on the field, so he's getting his legs loose early. This will be the 10th pitch of this at bat. Fair ball. Bautista's rounding second. Ball hits down off the wall in right field. Aoki hesitates. He was going to second and double clutched. Bautista had already been stopped at third. Lind delivers on the full count pitch on the 10th pitch of the at bat. So there are runners at the corners and 2 outs, and who do you want at the plate? The hottest guy in the world throughout the month of May. And there's really nowhere to put him right now with the runners on first and third, and boy, has he had a month, and Jose has joined him, Mark Burley has joined him, but Adam Lind for me as well in this little platoon role he's been in, facing just right-handers. It's been a great slot for him to add to that list, those 4 stars in the month of May for the Blue Jays. Blue Jays have worked Jeremy Guthrie over in the first. He's thrown 24 pitches already. For the season, Encarnacion has 18 homers and 45 RBIs. Dropped down a bit and finds the outside corner. Saw a little extra movement on that pitch too. You change your arm angle a little bit. Put your fingers on the side of the baseball. Get some more downward movement with that 2-seam fastball.
Encarnacion thought it was off the plate inside. Guthrie's ahead 1-2.
That's just a great pitch right there by Jeremy Guthrie. If you can throw that fastball 94 and get it in on the inside corner or just inside it even, that's a good place to be when you're facing a hitter like Edwin. Now we'll see if he goes back away with the breaking ball, or you can double up in there. He went away and just missed the outside corner.
You know what? The Blue Jays have gained the reputation for having good eyes at the plate. And they're getting a lot of calls in their favor because they're not free swingers as they were the last couple of years. Another borderline pitch.
Just such a good eye and good plate discipline right there by Edwin. Evan Seitzer has preached this since day one, being aggressive in the strike zone.
Juan Francisco is on deck, another potent left-handed bat. Full count. Lynn will be off on the pitch. Bautista's at third. Reached for by Encarnacion, and that's going to reach the seats.
Another great pitch by Guthrie. Excellent location with the breaking ball off the plate away. Edwin feels that it's close enough. He's got to try to go for it, but that's what good hitters do. They get to those pitches, but they foul them into the seats. They don't roll them over to the shortstop.
But it's dangerous to be pitching Encarnacion away like that, the way the defense is. Look at that gap between center field and right.
We have noticed Aoki in right field this whole series, how he hugs the line. They really leave that right center gap open.
Another 3-2 pitch. There goes Lind, and it's ball 4. That'll load the bases. 2 walks in the inning. This entire inning began with Bautista taking a 2-out walk.
That's why this team is so tough to pitch to. Edwin laying off that ball away. This is Juan Francisco back in Kansas City May 1st, and he teed off on this ball off of Guthrie. He left it right in his break zone, and Juan Francisco doesn't hit many cheapies, and he got all of that one.
He is 3 for 6 against Guthrie, and we mentioned Jeremy has given up 12 home runs. He's given up 21 home runs in his previous 21 games against the Blue Jays. Bases are loaded. Guthrie has had an extended inning. 31 pitches here in the first inning. Nine home runs for Francisco.
And you can only pitch around guys so much. You can see the 3-2 curveball that he threw to Adam Lind. He lined it down the right field line. The slider away from Edwin, he took it, but there's nowhere to put anybody right now. He's got to go get Juan Francisco.
Breaking ball high and deep to right, but it's going to stay in the park. Aoki is there. Guthrie gets out of a first inning jam. It took him 33 pitches, but he leaves the bases loaded.
2014 Honda CR-V. Honda, proud to be the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays. And by Home Hardware, homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
It is Country Day at Rogers Center, and 20,000 fans received a Blue Jays cowboy hat when they came into the ballpark, and you can see the hats right there. And it is a gorgeous day at the ballpark. Lots of kids on hand once again. Another nice crowd here at Rogers Center. Yesterday, 31,652. We move to the second. It'll be Alex Gordon, the left fielder. Burley gets ahead with that changeup. Gordon in the series has gone 4 for 10. He's had a pair of doubles, a home run, and driven in 3. And you can see his home run numbers are down a bit. It's been a concern for the Royals overall. This is popped up over the mound. Francisco, the third baseman, calling for it, and he makes the catch. Gurley was directing traffic, and you could see he hollered for Francisco once he saw the third baseman make the call.
Burley had his glove up blocking that sun. He wanted no part of it, but he was making sure somebody else got it.
That happened on Friday night when the Blue Jays ran together. Eric Kratz and Edwin Encarnacion collided on a pop-up. Kratz was able to hold on to it.
That's where you really want that corner infield to come out and help out that catcher.
Boy, didn't you always hope that you could hear that third baseman right away?
Well, you go out into the infield thinking you've got it, and you're just waiting for somebody to call you off. So much easier coming in for that ball.
Sal Perez gets a base hit to left field. Melky Cabrera over quickly. 1-out single for the Royals catcher. Perez did not play yesterday. They got the day off after the night game on Friday night. That's just his second hit in 9 at-bats in this series. Lorenzo Cain, he's had quite a series. Cain is 4 for 7 in this series. He had a 4 RBI night on Friday night. A couple of RBI singles and a 2-run homer. He's getting his first look at Mark Burley. Can always be a challenge. You see the scouting report and you say, yeah, off speed, off speed, off speed, but it doesn't tell you about the movement and the location.
No, it's way easier said than done. When you watch get the reports and watch them on video, that's one thing, but to get them live, it's another.
This is popped up. Laurie battling the sun, stays with it. 2 down. Mark Burley has the lowest average fastball in the majors.
Something he'd be proud of?
He would be proud. You go 9-1 with the slowest fastball in the big leagues. You got to be proud of that.
What's that tell you, kids?
You don't have to throw hard.
Locate the baseball, get some movement on it.
Burley's fastball average is 83.2. Mike Moustakas goes after that first pitch. That was 75. That might not even get you a ticket on the QEW. There's a high fly ball into left center. Melky Cabrera takes charge and makes the catch. Kansas City strands another base runner. Just 10 pitches for Burley in the second.
Sportsnet. Brought to you by the 2014 Honda CR-V. Honda, proud to be the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays. And by Home Hardware, homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. Baseball hats have made their way all the way down to the lake shore. It's Country Day here at Rogers Center this afternoon. A lot of fans on hand. You can see all those cowboy hats given away as part of the festivities here at the ballpark. If you're around in the area, come on out. It's a gorgeous day, and I'm sure you can make your way here and catch the middle innings of this ball game. Brett Laurie will start things off for the Jays in the second. Laurie had a 2-hit day yesterday, drove in 3 runs.
Always fun to join that hit parade on a day like yesterday.
Everybody beefing up their averages a bit. This is a high fly ball into right. Aoki dealing with that sun. You can see he played off the side of his body so he didn't have to look directly up into that bright sun.
And you have to do that. You angle your body, you use your glove, sunglasses, you use everything, because when that ball's in the sun, once you lose it, you're about done. If you look into that sun, you get that glare. See Aoki positioning himself to get a good angle on that ball.
Nowadays, most defensive players wear some form of sunglasses, and in years past they had the flip down glasses, but now the glasses have gotten so good you can wear them full time. Catcher Dioner Navarro. Boy, Navarro and Burley have really clicked this season.
They sure have, and that's one thing that really has helped Mark Burley. We all know how fast he likes to work. Dioner just puts the sign down and he throws it. Great rhythm, great timing, and Mark Burley has really liked the way Dioner's joined him.
There's a high fly ball deep to right. Aoki looking up. Home run Navarro. For Dioner, it's his third and the 13th that Jeremy Guthrie has allowed. That's the most in the American League.
And with all the home runs that Jeremy Guthrie has given up, we know that's one of the weaknesses in his game. Facing this Blue Jays lineup today, it was a bit of a mismatch, but Dioner Navarro is probably not the first name that would have come to mind. You're wondering who would take him deep today. It was a breaking ball, and boy, did he leave it up and in the middle half, inner half of the plate. Dioner Navarro skied it just over the fence into the bullpen.
Anthony goes, bunts it foul back over the screen.
And that's just a hanger right there. You see that curveball? It's kind of got a knuckle curve that he throws, and that's just a, well, like the old cement mixer. It's just spinning and not a whole lot of break. That ball needs to be down in the zone.
Navarro didn't miss it. Boy, he squared up that hanging curveball. Ball and a strike to the Blue Jays center fielder.
The difference being, if that's a fastball at 94, 95, like Guthrie's been throwing elevated in the zone, Dioner probably does not get to that pitch, but with an off-speed pitch, you're asking for trouble.
Guthrie is a remarkable athlete. He is always in great shape, but he did have to throw 33 pitches in the first inning. And now he's staring at the prospects of the top of the order once again. On the ground, Escobar unloads in a hurry, and Ghost is retired, 2 down. Jeremy Guthrie was a terrific multi-sport athlete in Southern Oregon. He was recruited by Brigham Young University to go play baseball and possibly football. He was a great high school quarterback. But after his freshman year, he went on his Mormon mission for 2 years. And he came back and enrolled in Stanford. Didn't go back to BYU. He went to Stanford with that great baseball program. Mark Marcus was the coach, still is the coach. And Jeremy, because of his Mormon religion, told him, I can't pitch on Sunday, so I can't be the closer. So they made him a starter, and he made one start as the Saturday starter. And after that, he was the Friday night #1 starter for Stanford. He went on his Mormon mission to Spain, and because of that, he speaks fluent Spanish. And he's a very interesting guy. Jose Reyes, ball on the strike, 2 outs. That's a cut fastball. Reyes gets a piece up. Well, the Blue Jays so far in this homestand are 7-2. And after that 9-game win streak, everybody said, oh, they lost 2 in a row. They win today. It's an 8-2 homestand. Pretty good.
That's pretty good homestand. When you get on such a roll like the Blue Jays were on, it's very difficult. When you lose a ball game, everybody says, oh, okay, you're going to lose. But then you lose a second one, and then you consider who you've lost it to. Everybody kind of takes the winds out of your sails a little bit. But that's a pretty good month of May that they enjoyed right there. And they're trying to win a ball game today to split this series and start this new month on the right foot.
Guthrie drops that breaking ball on the outside. Reyes strikes out. But the Blue Jays have taken the lead. Dioner Navarro, the catcher, with 1 out in the second, goes deep. His 3rd home run of the season, and Blue Jays are back on track with the long ball.
Jays on Sportsnet. Brought to you by the 2014 Honda CR-V. Honda, proud to be the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead as they have hit a home run. Yesterday they scored 12 and didn't hit a home run. Alcides Escobar is headed towards second as this ball splits the outfielders. And he'll get there standing up with a leadoff double. Number 9 hitter doubles to start the 3rd. Royals have left a runaround in each of their first 2 innings.
And that's a big gap in left center there. Anthony Ghost did a good job just going to cut that off with the speed of Escobar. If that gets by him, that's a triple.
Aoki is one of the best bunters in all of baseball. He has 6 bunt base hits. Francisco at third, anticipating a bunt. Aoki squares the bunt and drops down a beauty, but that's going to trickle foul. Boy, he can really handle that bat. Does a great job bunting.
He really does. Juan Francisco has to be careful right here because with Escobar on second base, of course they're anticipating the bunt from Aoki, but if he commits too much too soon, Aoki will pull that bat back and Escobar is just going to walk into third base.
He could have run right there. He could have taken off as soon as Francisco breaks. Aoki can see the base runner. And if Escobar continues to get a big lead like that, he can steal third. I mean, there's a perspective the batter has. And as soon as he squares, Francisco's going to commit. And then he can watch Escobar to see if he can break.
Yeah, Luis Rivera just reminded Francisco.
Ball is hit to Laurie, and they've got Escobar in a rundown. Francisco unloaded that first pitch too quick. Francisco gave up the baseball too quick the first time. If he holds it, gets Escobar going back to second base, they can keep Aoki from going to second.
When you get in a rundown, if you're Juan Francisco right there, you want to get Aoki running hard. Great play by Brett Laurie. The ball's hit hard. He's in because he's going to cover first on the bunt. Francisco has to run right there. If he runs initially, gets Escobar running back to second base. Once you see that player's back and his numbers, now give up the ball. Reyes' closing speed would have run him down in a hurry, and that would have kept Aoki at first base even too.
The one thing you want to do if you're Francisco is to make Escobar run full speed back towards second. But they get the out. Aoki now at second base. Infante goes after the first pitch to Hopper to third. Boy, that changed the complexion of the inning. Brett Laurie. There are not many second basemen in baseball that can play like Brett Laurie.
Well, and to see the field like he saw it right there, the infield was in a little bit. He was playing shallower than normal because they were expecting the bunt from Aoki. So he's shallow. He knows that he has to get to the first base bag in case the bunt is dropped down and Edwin has to come and field it. Aoki didn't bunt. He hit it hard right at him, and normally a ball to the right side of the field, the runner goes to third, no problem.
That ball gets away from Navarro. He can't find it. Now they've got Aoki hung up, and Navarro throws the ball in the dirt. All we needed on that play was the dancing bears.
Cue up the circus music.
Navarro couldn't find the baseball.
Well, he goes down to block the baseball first. He does not get to his knees, and he didn't do a good job blocking the baseball. It got away from him, but when you go throw a ball and then you want to hold up at the very last second, you see Mark Burley ducking for his life right there. But he got caught as he was ready to throw that ball. He should have just let it go to second base.
1-0 to Hosmer, 2 outs. Well, he started that swing and about halfway through it, he knew it wasn't a good pitch.
Well, there's after a breaking ball down and away in the dirt. That's an 84-mile-per-hour fastball. All of you kids listening, 84 miles per hour, and that ball just ate up Eric Hosmer right there. And that's what you can do. You can double up back in there with that fastball. After coming inside, Hosmer's probably looking more soft away. Dioner Navarro decided to double up in there, just missing the inside corner.
Hit hard. Laurie was deep at second base. Takes his time. Mark Burley gives up a leadoff double. Kansas City strands their third base runner so far. From Dingwell. Lieutenant Dingwell joined the Naval Reserve in 2003. He sailed as the deck officer on board several maritime coastal defense vessels and deployed as part of Canada's contribution to earthquake relief in Haiti in 2010. He deployed to the Arabian Sea and Indian Ocean on Operation Artemis, Canada's contribution to anti-terrorism in the area. Congratulations, Lieutenant Dingwell. Blue Jays always proud to salute the Canadian forces on Sundays at home. Great part of the Sunday afternoon. Blue Jays lead 1-0. Melky Cabrera starts off the third. Kansas City Royals will leave after this game and go to St. Louis to play their cross-state rivals in 2 games in St. Louis before they pick it up in Kansas City for the final 2.
And that will be no easy task. Those St. Louis Cardinals have come along. 3 games back in Milwaukee now.
National League champs got a big shot in the arm yesterday from a rookie, Oscar Taveras.
He is going to be fun to watch.
Cardinals will be here next weekend. It starts Friday night, so make sure you make arrangements to come out and watch the National League champs. They'll be here for a 3-game series over the weekend. And I promise you, beautiful weather just like today.
Promise?
Promise. Two balls and 2 strikes to Melky Cabrera. Guthrie got that fastball right on the outside corner.
Some great location. You see him staying away from Melky that whole at bat. When you hit spots like that, that's how you get good hitters out right there. Sal Perez setting up away and right on that outside corner. Good location. You stay away from the middle of the plate against these good hitters. That's how you find success. Leave it in the middle of the plate and they will get you.
Guthrie starts out Bautista with a breaking ball. Look at this. There's a guy that can handle the bat, folks.
Smart hitter, too.
Defense are going to have to start to play Bautista honestly.
Just a good piece of a hit. Watch the way he keeps his hands inside. He's going to let this ball travel, let the barrel trail. And when he sees a big hole on the right side of the field, that's the approach he's taken. The hands stay inside the ball, the barrel trails, let that ball get deep and drive it over there. And that's, he says, if you're going to play me over there, I can beat you. And that's what they'll do.
Eric Bedard of the Tampa Bay Rays talked about how frustrating it is to see a ground ball to straightaway second base go all the way into the outfield.
Especially when you get a hitter the caliber of Jose Bautista to hit a ground ball right there.
1 out. That brings to the plate the left-handed hitting Adam Lind. He takes another first pitch.
He just looks so comfortable in the batter's box right now, so confident. And when you're swinging the bat well and seeing it well like Adam is, that's the feeling you have.
Lind is leading all batters against right-handed pitching with a .403 batting average.
How's that platoon working for him?
Platoon is working pretty well. It gets jammed, and Lorenzo Cain coming in from center. He makes the catch. 2 down. Now Bautista still at first. Guthrie now will deal with Edwin Encarnacion. Edwin this year coming into this game against the Royals a .333 average, 6 for 18. He's hit a double and 3 home runs.
Royals continuing to pound Edwin inside. You can see that is clearly the game plan.
As long as he doesn't chase that pitch that's off the plate, he'll be fine. It's a little unsettling for a pitcher to make a pretty good pitch and a hitter doesn't even flinch, doesn't even offer.
That is how well he's seeing the ball right now. I think Edwin's slowly showing a little frustration at the fastballs that continue to come inside, especially when they're elevated. See that look right there that he gave Guthrie.
Guthrie uses that two-seamer to catch the outside corner. We are part of the Encarnacion. There's a lot of people that are.
Jump on board.
He got jammed, and that's a slow roller to third. Bautista is out on the force out. The inning is over. Blue Jays leave a base runner. We'll go to the fourth. Mark Burley has a 1-0 lead. Anniversary to Rogers Center. Friday, June 6th, the Blue Jays and Cardinals will tee it up. It all starts at 7:07 p.m. Come celebrate 25 years of Rogers Center memories. Special appearances by Jimmy Key and Ernie Witt. For tickets for the celebration, call the Blue Jays at 416-341-1234 or log online at bluejays.com. Pick up your tickets for the 25th anniversary Rogers Center party on Friday night, June 6th. Hard to believe it's been 25 years since they opened up Rogers Center.
Put that thing together quickly, didn't they?
Went right up, no problem.
That's so neat to see.
It was really interesting at the start of that little piece of tape how little there was around Rogers Center.
Yeah, not much around at all.
Ball 2 to Billy Butler, the Royals DH and cleanup hitter. High fly ball to left. Butler got a pretty good pitch to hit, but he got underneath it. One down.
Celebrate and save during Home's 50th anniversary sale. Only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
There is CN Tower right next to Rogers Center. It has been standing proudly next to the Rogers Center ever since his place opened up. Alex Gordon popped out to the third baseman his first time up.
You're Alex Gordon. That's the pitch you want to tee off on right there, that 85-mile-per-hour fastball. Pretty middle.
That's 1-2.
That's what Mark Buehrle will do to you, though. You'll finesse you in, finesse you out, and then you miss the pitch you should hit.
There he let him hit that one, but he knew he couldn't keep it fair as he got that fastball inside. There he takes something off, and nice play by Edwin. Good scoop as he tossed to Buehrle. I mean, that was great teamwork right there.
Good pickup by Edwin, and then the key is when he receives that ball to get that ball into Buehrle's hands as quickly as possible. The pitcher wants that ball as quickly as possible so that he has a step or two to look down and touch the bag. Very difficult if Edwin doesn't come up with this cleanly or delays that toss. Now Buehrle's got to be looking to catch the ball and touch the base at the same time.
Great teamwork, and Buehrle, of course, a 4-time Gold Glove. Edwin Encarnacion's having a lot of fun playing first base.
He's really impressed with the leather over there, and good footwork as well.
Mark Buehrle took his time to get back up on the mound. Catch his breath. Oh. Little sprint over there at top speed. You got to make sure you don't get on the mound too quickly. Oh. 2-0. Sal Perez, the catcher, had a one-out single in the second. All three pitches up out of the strike zone. Four straight balls, and Perez will take a 2-out walk. Nothing gets to Mark Buehrle as much as issuing a base on balls.
No, just ironic, too, that it came after the play where he did run that sprint over and cover first base. And it sounds silly. A pitcher should be able to come back, and yes, he should. But you come back a little bit winded, and you maybe don't have your legs quite under you, and you just missed up with 4 pitches.
Lorenzo Cain popped out in his first at bat against Buehrle. There's a better changeup. It was down a bit more into the strike zone.
Locate that thing on the outside corner. You can even get away with it if it's a little bit up. Ideally, he wants that pitch down, but you can get away with it when it's on the corner.
Cued off the end of the bat. Stay with that ball. You never know if it'll come back into fair ground.
And Edwin did. You see him back off of that a little bit? Spin one more time.
Cain had to play Perez at first. Cain came to the Royals in a trade with the Milwaukee Brewers in December of 2010. He was a finalist for the Rawlings Gold Glove in center field last year. 0-2, 2 outs. Buehrle's getting Cain set up for that inside fastball.
Well, the first two pitches are on that outside corner. Now he goes change off the plate away to see if he'll chase it. He doesn't because it's too far off. We're probably going to see that fastball cutter inside here.
Whoa, Buehrle made the perfect pitch, didn't get to call.
The only person in the park that didn't think it was a perfect pitch was Larry Vanover, the home plate umpire. That's an excellent pitch right there by Buehrle. We just called it after the change up away. That's what he's been doing to right-handed batters all year right there.
Breaking ball bounced in the dirt. Full count, 2 outs. Now Encarnacion will back up behind Perez at first base. Mike Moustakas, the third baseman, is on deck. You know, you think about strike zones and umpires missing a borderline pitch. You say, well, what's the big deal? It's just one pitch. But Mark Buehrle threw the first 3 pitches of that at bat to make that one pitch.
I get there, absolutely. And those 2 pitches, we saw the first 2 on the corner, then he goes change up away, and that's why Dioner Navarro calls a game. Pitchers execute their pitches. You can look ahead.
Here's another pop up. Edwin calls for it and then loses it in the sun. That'll be a foul ball. Fortunately, nobody touched it. But Edwin called for it. You could hear him call for it. Burley backed off. And then fortunately, nobody touched it, and it bounced into foul ground.
Well, as long as Mark Burley can retire Lorenzo Cain here, they'll have a good chuckle in the dugout. But you see Edwin wanted it all the way, but then right there, he's got the glove up, but his sun is still shining right on his face, and he's not shaded. Staring right up in that sun. There it is, and he just lost it.
How about Burley? He knew immediately that was a foul ball.
Absolutely. Leave the ball alone and let it spin foul.
Mark Burley's a baseball player.
He just gets it, doesn't he?
Everything he does, he understands the game. When he's not pitching, he's into the game as much as anybody on the team. Another 3-2 pitch. Perez, there he goes, and Cain strikes out. So now they can have a little chuckle about that pop-up that fell untouched on the infield. Lorenzo Cain, the first strikeout victim of the afternoon, chases the changeup. .32 teams identifying key players, stats, and predict where each squad will finish. You can buy it on newsstands or at www.sportsnet.ca/magazine. Beautiful picture on the cover. That is the World Cup Preview magazine.
Juan Francisco, we know, got to Jeremy Guthrie back May 1st at Kansas City. He took him deep, and in the first inning, they let Guthrie off the hook right here. This breaking ball had hung up on the plate, and these are usually the ones we talk about, but just off the end of the bat. Good swing right there by Francisco, just missing it, flying out to right field.
Francisco will lead off the bottom of the fourth. Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead. Hits this ball to right. Aoki messed it up. It's off his glove. Francisco is headed to second. We have seen this before with Aoki. He booted a couple of balls in Kansas City back early in the month, and right there, that was a line drive. No issue with the sun. He just misplayed it.
Well, it looked like he came in. A line drive is usually the toughest one to gauge, but he wasn't really fighting the sun. I think he just misjudged the ball. The line drive is tough for an outfielder. You have to freeze, gauge where it's at first, and then make your move. It looked like what he did is he committed right away coming in, and you can't do that when you don't know exactly where the baseball is. He just overcommitted.
So it's a double for Francisco. Aoki shaking his head. That's a play right at him. Brett Lawrie. Lawrie now with 31 RBIs has been a terrific run producer. Heading down in the order, he's had plenty of opportunities.
And this is a situation where Brett has to find a way to hit the ball to the right side of the field and move Juan Francisco over to third base.
367 this season with runners in scoring position. Best on the ball club.
So
Kevin Seitzer's goal, excuse me, Joe, his goal is to get Brett Lawrie to focus with that kind of intensity with nobody on.
All the time, that's right. And it's one thing you do it with runners in scoring position or with 2 strikes, but you can take that approach to the plate every time.
Drilled to left field. Francisco had to hold his ground to make sure it was through safely. So Lawrie gets a single. First and third, nobody out.
Well, he didn't hit it to the right side of the infield, but Brett Lawrie says, I'm going to just try to drive him in right here. Drilling this ball into left field.
Back-to-back hits to start the fourth. Luis Rivera with instruction for Francisco, who doubled to start the inning. Dioner Navarro homered in his first at-bat. Navarro having a little chat with Larry Vanover. Burley made some good pitches right about in the same area of the strike zone and didn't get the call.
And as a pitcher, those are such big calls when it's just off the plate, especially for Navarro right here. First pitch 1-0 and 0-1 is much different.
Snap throw to third, and Francisco just barely back in. Sal Perez, one of the best in the business at picking base runners off.
These Blue Jays base runners should know by now. Juan Francisco's just off way too far right there with Sal Perez catching. You see the throw of Perez was into fair territory towards the shortstop side of the bag, and if that throw's on the money, Juan's dead meat at third base.
Foul back. With 1 out in the second, Navarro against Guthrie.
And Guthrie left this pitch hanging up and middle in. That's not where you want to miss with your off-speed pitches. And Dioner Navarro, he skied this ball but got it just far enough over the fence in right field and into that Royals bullpen. Third baseman can bait you a little bit, just be kind of walking around, walking away from the third base bag, and then scoot right in there. They almost had Francisco.
Breaking ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Perez threw this ball inside the baseline, but if you throw it right over the bag, you know the runner's going to be diving back into the base. He's not going to be a problem.
Yeah, if he hits Moustakas in the chest with that ball, Juan's in big trouble.
Navarro strikes out. Boy, that's a big strikeout for Guthrie. First out of the inning. And a runner at third, runner at first, and he gets a big strikeout.
It's a real good changeup right there from Guthrie, and that's where you want to be with the off-speed pitch. Down in the zone, and you see the sinking movement going down and away from Navarro. Big pitch at a big time right there for Guthrie.
Anthony Gose, with his great speed, tough to double up. But he can also bunt the ball. And bunt it right toward the second baseman. That get the Blue Jays another run. Not bunting here. He takes the strike.
Now, if Anthony did one of his patented drag bunts right here towards first base, it's a run for fun. Even with the speed of Juan Francisco, he could cruise into home. There's no way they double up Anthony. Almost a safety squeeze of sorts.
Lawrie has good speed at first. Luis Rivera always talking to the base runner at third about the situation he's dealing with. Gose hits it on the ground. Escobar shovels to Infante, who drops the ball. Francisco comes in to score. Lawrie is out, and John Gibbons is coming out of the dugout to contest the call at second. A run comes in. Gose, I don't think they were going to double up Gose. That ball wasn't hit sharply enough.
Well, I could hear the bat of Anthony Gose break, but here's that transfer rule. They know they have to be quick with Anthony Gose running. Did he catch it first before the transfer? Again, under the old rules, before they made the change, this would be Laurie would be safe at second base. As long as you catch the ball now, the runner's out. It looks like John Gibbons is going to retreat back to his dugout.
So Ghost picks up an RBI on the fielder's choice. That's his 4th ribby of the season. Blue Jays have taken a 2-0 lead. So they have picked up Dioner Navarro after he struck out with runners at the corners and nobody out.
Well, that's a big thing. You do not want to leave that runner stranded, and that's what they've been doing throughout this hot streak. If somebody falters, the next guy's there to pick up the club.
This is a challenge for Anthony Ghost. Guthrie is quick to the plate, and you got one of the best arms behind the plate in Sal Perez.
This is a great time to gamble, though. Even if you get thrown out, you've got the top of the order starting off next inning.
They throw it away. Ghost will go towards second. He looks over his shoulder at Hosmer, and now he's running to third. An ill-advised move by Ghost. That ball didn't kick far enough away. He should have been satisfied with getting into scoring position. Guthrie is out of the inning. The Blue Jays have taken a 2-run lead. Ghost dives back into first. The ball gets past Hosmer, but Ghost made a bad call trying to go to third as he's thrown out advancing. Summer Safety Day is presented by Allstate, and it'll take place Wednesday, June 11th, when the Blue Jays take on the Minnesota Twins. Note to start time, 12:37 p.m. It's an afternoon game on Wednesday, June 11th. The first 25,000 fans receive a Blue Jays team baseball card set. There's the first pitch hit by Moustakas to Brett Laurie out of the shallow right field. So a reminder on that Blue Jays swing into Summer Safety Day. You can call the Blue Jays at 416-341-1234 or log online at bluejays.com to order your tickets. That's Wednesday, June 11th at 12:37.
How's that for positioning? Looks like they've got Mike Moustakas played perfectly. Brett Laurie out in shallow right field.
It's got to be aggravating for a hitter to hit a ball which is normally a one-hopper to the right field, and there's the second baseman standing out there.
It's definitely tougher to hit now. With all the data out there and all the reports.
God, I hate to play now. It was tough enough to hit when I played.
This is where Brett Laurie, the report is that he's dead pull right there. So you back up your second baseman, essentially playing a shallow right field. And if it is on the ground, Laurie would have all kinds of range as well.
Well, Brett Laurie is unique as a second baseman because not only does he have great athleticism and terrific range, but he's got that third baseman's arm. So you could push him further out into the outfield than most second basemen. I think Brett is starting to get a little more comfortable at second base. This is his 15th start at second base. But his skill set with quickness, athleticism, range, and arm strength really play well at second.
And we've seen him range out there to his left towards that right field line come up and spin and throw. And as you say, with that arm, he can range and throw from a long distance, even though it's a second base position.
Strike three call. Mark Burley with the strikeout. Second strikeout for Burley.
Canon's Best in Glass sales event. Performance cameras and lenses at the season's best prices. Visit canon.ca/bestinglass.
Beautiful afternoon down here by the lakeshore. Aoki goes after the first pitch and skips it past Encarnacion into right. Aoki's on board for the second time today. This inning, the Royals have gone up hacking at that first pitch.
They sure have. Nice effort right here by Edwin, but that's that short hop, and just with that artificial turf, you don't know necessarily what it's going to do.
Well, this is the value of the bunt base hit, because Aoki is so adept at dropping down a bunt for a single. Encarnacion has to come in, and that limits his ability to make a play on that one hopper.
If he's playing back right there, it's an easy one hopper, probably belt high. Aoki's got 7 bags.
Burley with the pickoff throw to first. Since Burley came into the major leagues 2001, nobody has come close to amassing the number of pickoffs he has. He has 92 pickoffs for his career. The next closest pitcher in pickoffs is Andy Pettit, who had 49. And that is a wide margin.
Well, what an asset to have as a left-handed pitcher. See Aoki over there. Most base stealers are going to go first move anyway when you lift your leg.
Aoki with a 2-out single. He is 7 for 10 in steals this year.
He could go first move on Burley, but he's going to have to guess right. Again, a situation where if you get thrown out, you've got Infante leading off next inning, but if he guesses right, he'll have a high success rate.
Infante takes a strike. Burley struck out Alcides Escobar looking. It's the 26th time this season Burley has caught a batter looking at strike 3.
And again, it's not the third strike that is so relevant, it's the pitches before leading up to it.
Ground ball to short. Reyes goes to Laurie. The inning is over. Kansas City strands another base runner. They left one on in each of the first 5 innings. Sal Perez is the youngest Royal currently on the roster for Kansas City, and we thought we'd show you some very young players that debuted That's hard to fathom. I was ever 20 years old.
Young, handsome players, I meant. And look at that young man on the far right.
Brett Sayrehagen was 19 years, 359 days when he made his debut, and Brett was 20. And I made my debut in June of 1969.
Do you remember that day? That's awfully young to be in the big leagues, isn't it?
I went from A-ball to the big leagues. And I was overmatched. There's a line drive to Infante off the bat of Reyes. Yeah, it was in 1969. I was in college at the time, and of course that was during the Vietnam War era, and many of us players stayed in school. And I went directly from the campus at Sacramento State University to Kansas City.
And you were already drafted, property of the Royals.
Yeah, I had been drafted by the Phillies. I was actually a Rule 5 player in the winter of '68. Played my first 2 years in the minor leagues, 2 half seasons basically, and then went to the big leagues with just about 130 minor league games. Maybe not even that many.
Wow, welcome to the big leagues, eh?
Yeah, it was a very good fortune situation for me. I got to the big leagues and played a lot that year in '69. Of course, that organization really developed quickly, winning in '76 for the first time. There's a broken bat single off the bat of Melky Cabrera. When you're hot, you're hot. His first hit of the afternoon. A one-out single. That'll bring Bautista to the plate.
That bat just blew up. See the rotation of that ball. A little slider tried to backdoor it, but the rotation of that ball went right in on the label. Melky got jammed on that pitch, and if you hit that bat just right near that label, that's what it does, and that bat just exploded.
Most of these bats in the major leagues nowadays are maple bats, and if you don't hit them on the sweet spot, they will explode, as that last one did. Jose Bautista has been on base twice more this afternoon. Bautista was on base 2 out of his 3 plate appearances yesterday. He was on base 4 times in 5 plate appearances on Friday. Bautista may have thought that Guthrie never stopped in that set position.
And that will really throw your timing off as a hitter. You're waiting for that pitcher to stop. He's got his rhythm going. He's waggling his bat. And when that pitcher quick pitches, that throws that timing off.
Bouncing ball to short. Escobar shovels to second. Bautista is out on the 6-4-3 double play. We'll go to the 6th. The Blue Jays lead it 2-0. Green chairs in the TD Comfort Zone are recipients of a special seat upgrade courtesy of TD. And you've got your cowboy hats on today. That's pretty cool. While over in the Jays Care Community Clubhouse, we welcome visitors from the St. Thomas Elgin Children's Hospital. Welcome to the ballpark. And boy, there's a whole bunch of hats in that clubhouse today. Good to have you here at the ballpark. And Blue Jays are trying to wrap up a terrific road trip, a homestand here. If they win today, they'll have an 8-2 record on this 10-game homestand. Little pop up into center field, and Ghost is going to have to play it on the bounce. Hosmer's headed to second, and nobody's there. Now he can go to third. There's nobody at third either. There've been some goofy plays here this afternoon, and Hosmer got jammed, flared it into center.
Well, Anthony Ghost got a real bad jump on this. You're going to see him kind of freeze for a second, and then by the time he's coming in too late. Now that's Mark Burley's job to get to the bag there. Juan Francisco doesn't want to have to vacate his spot at third base, and just great base running right there by Eric Hosmer, seeing all of that.
So it's a double for Hosmer. That's his 20th double of the season. It certainly won't be the most well-hit double, but he'll take it.
Again, a fastball in. He actually jammed Hosmer, did exactly what he wanted.
Billy Butler is 0 for 2 so far today against Burley, but we mentioned coming into this game, he's a career .349 hitter against Burley.
Burley will continue to pitch carefully to Butler, but he also has to remember that he is the tying run, so this is a real kind of first situation in a while that Burley has been confronted with.
Pulled on the ground. Reyes will go to third base, and they got Hosmer. That's the only play Reyes had, and Hosmer runs into an out at third.
Hosmer just had an absolutely spectacular hustle play, smart base running, getting to second on that blue single it should have been, and then just an absolute no-no. If the ball is hit to your right in this situation, you have got to wait till the ball gets through and goes into left field. Jose Reyes comes up with that ball. The only play he's got is to third base.
You can't make that type of base running mistake if you're Eric Hosmer. You get leadoff double, and then you run into an out.
It's just an absolute no-no. If the ball's hit to your right, you have to let it go through. Mark Burley appreciated the play by Jose Reyes.
So now the double play is in order. Outside. Alex Gordon has popped out and grounded out. Boy, the Burley is able to pitch around trouble. Kansas City has stranded a single base runner in the first 5 innings, and they made a base running mistake in this inning.
He's been able to make pitches when he's had to, but he got a little help on a bad decision right there by Eric Hosmer. And those are the things that are magnified for a club that is just not playing well. Those are the things that you see far too often. I'm sure Ned Yost has seen his share.
Gordon strikes out, 2 down. Two outs now. Runner at first base. Billy Butler. Sal Perez has been on base twice so far. He singled in the second, walked in the fourth. Blue Jays lead it 2-0. Dioner Navarro with a solo home run in the second. Anthony Ghost picked up the RBI with a ground out in the fourth, hit into a fielder's choice, and Francisco came in to score. You never get that fastball when you expect it with Burley.
And that's 85, but you see the two-seam action. Dioner Navarro wiggling that index finger. That's the two-seamer. Comes a changeup.
He hits it down the left field line and just into the first row of seats, out of play.
So here's classic Mark Burley, two-seamer down and away. Come back changeup. He set up? He just sped up his bat. I would think he's going to stay away with a changeup again. This is not the type of situation I don't think he would come back in with the cutter because he just sped up his bat.
He just showed the knuckleball grip. He flashed a little sign to Navarro. I'm going to throw a knuckleball this time.
He's going away with backdoor cutter.
Cued off the end of the bat. Encarnacion will have to flip to Burley, and they're able to get the catcher. That ends the inning. Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead. Now it's time for the Home Hardware Cleanup Crew, brought to you by Natura. Home Hardware's exclusive line of safe, environmentally friendly cleaning products. Test. You post a picture through Twitter or Instagram of you cheering at the Blue Jays game and include the hashtag cheer like never before, you get a chance to be a lucky winner. One winner will be selected to attend the 2014 MLB All-Star Game in Minnesota. Contest closes June 14th. Visit BlueJays.com/Rogers Contest for full details. Take some pictures, send in your pictures to Twitter or Instagram. Of course, the fan base is made up of all sorts of different personalities and a lot of characters, so we want your pictures. So send us your pictures of you cheering like never before. You could go to the All-Star game. We move to the bottom of the sixth. It's a 2-0 game. Adam Lind will lead things off. He has singled in 2 at-bats. We mentioned Lind coming into this game with a .403 batting average against right-handed pitching. Lind doesn't seem to mind having to play in a platoon situation. Obviously, he's going to get the majority of the bats, as most pitchers are right-handed.
Yeah, and he's really enjoying it and really taking advantage of this, seeing the right-handed pitchers, and you see him taking another first pitch strike. Not a problem. He feels very comfortable in the batter's box.
0-2. We mentioned that Lind, with Encarnacion as protection, has a lot of confidence. He is hit with 2 strikes. He has to battle that nasty pitch down and away. Guthrie waits for Hosmer. 1 down. Edwin Encarnacion 0 for 1 with a walk so far, but you look at what he did in the month of May. He was first in home runs with 16. Second to Miguel Cabrera in RBIs with 33. The OPS was fifth, and he was first in total bases. It'll be tough to beat him for Player of the Month
Just
in the American League.
Tremendous month for Edwin after struggling through the month of April, but he just had it all click.
There's a drive down the left field line. It slams up against the wall. Encarnacion is headed for second. Gordon's got a great arm, and Infante couldn't make the tag. Gordon threw a perfect one-hop strike to second base, but Infante, in his haste to make the tag, failed to come up with the baseball.
It was a very strong throw, too, by Gordon in left field. Plays it perfectly off the fence, and that's the type of ball. It's hit so hard, you know you got a shot. May have been a bit of a short hop, tough ball for Omar. Boy, if he comes up with that, though, it's a play.
Gordon has 4 assists so far this season. That looked like he was going to pick up his 5th, but for Encarnacion, that's his 15th double to go along with those 18 home runs. He also has a couple of triples. Juan Francisco doubled over the head of Aoki in right. His last time up, he came in to score the second Blue Jays run. Francisco starting to sit back looking for those breaking balls. Ball on the strike. The Pitch Tracker is brought to you by Acer, official partner of the Toronto Blue Jays.
See Aoki in right field. His back's up against the wall. See how deep he's playing Francisco. He doesn't want to get burned on that line drive again.
Francisco goes to left, and Gordon is there. It's the second out of the inning. Encarnacion still at second now with 2 outs. Jeremy Guthrie has settled down quite nicely after a 33-pitch first inning. He gave up a solo home run in the second and a RBI fielder's choice in the fourth.
But the run support has still avoided him. Just struggling for his club to score runs when he's out there. He's had a couple of good starts in a row. Talked about his last 2 outings, giving up just an earned run each time.
Over his last 9 starts, Guthrie's run support average is 2.90. That's the lowest in the American League. And he's just under his average right now. They've only scored 2. Laurie pokes it up the first baseline. Guthrie waits for it to go into foul ground. I think if he'd have got there quickly, he would have picked it up, as Laurie was behind him closer to home plate. So we'll do it again. It's 0-2, and Sal Perez, the catcher, out to have a chat with Guthrie. Perez just 24 years old, but boy, he has taken a leadership role of this pitching staff.
And it's a good pitching staff. He's done a nice job here, catching predominantly every day, but not just the rotation. We talked about those power arms coming out of the bullpen. That's something certainly for this organization to build around. They just need to get that offense going.
0-2, way outside. Perez just turned 24 on May 10th. Good take by Laurie. 2-2. Guthrie strikes him out. Blue Jays will leave a runner at second. We'll go to the 7th. Another good pitchers duel. Guthrie and Burley hooking up. I want to remind all you fans that if you want to check out breaking news, stories, stats, and scores, follow us on Twitter at Sportsnet. Check out everything that we work on every single day. We got a great cast of writers and reporters that'll keep you up to speed on everything right there on Twitter. Twitter at Sportsnet to find out all you want to know about the Blue Jays. And if you check out Twitter, you might find out that Marcus Stroman is still with the Blue Jays, which is kind of curious.
Very interesting.
Stroman with a terrific start yesterday, his first major league start. And he is still here with the Blue Jays, and that might lead you to believe that he's going to make another start. If he were going to go back to the minor leagues, I don't think he would hang around here. Liam Hendricks is in the bullpen. He is slated to start Wednesday in Detroit. But it seems as though with his presence in the bullpen and Stroman still here, you might speculate that Stroman's going to get another start.
And Liam Hendricks' name is listed on that lineup card today as a right-handed reliever, so he is available down there.
The center fielder, Lorenzo Cain. Mark Burley has worked him over today. Ground ball, big hop for Reyes. Scooped out of the dirt by Encarnacion. One down.
Celebrate and save during Home's 50th anniversary sale. Only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Barry is waiting to go over to Center Island on a spectacular afternoon here in Toronto. Mike Moustakas was just called up from AAA Omaha. He was down there for 10 games. Hit .351 over that span. Burley throws the changeup for a strike. Moustakas was batting .152 with 4 homers and 17 RBIs when he was sent to the minors. He pops this one into right. Bautista circling underneath it. Makes the catch. 2 down. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Big crowd on hand here this Sunday afternoon. First pitch swinging is Escobar, and he will line it into right. Little bloop single to get aboard with 2 outs. That's the 6th Royals hit off Burley, but again, we mentioned they have had a base runner on in all 7 innings. They have not crossed home plate yet, as they have stranded 6.
He's scattering those hits, though, isn't he? Royals having trouble putting anything together.
They haven't had 2 hits in a single inning so far. Aoki goes after the first pitch. The ball takes him right to second. He tosses to Reyes. Another man left on by Burley will go to the bottom of the 7th. A beautiful 2-0 game. Pregame is brought to you by the 2014 Honda CR-V. Honda, proud to be the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Dioner Navarro got the Blue Jays on the board in the second inning, hitting this hanging breaking ball from Jeremy Guthrie into the Royals bullpen in right field. And it was a big one to get him on the board. It's been a well-pitched game both ways by Guthrie and Burley. Able to add one on in the fourth.
Dioner Navarro getting that solo home run, staking Mark Burley to an early lead. Blue Jays would add a run in the fourth, and that's been it. It's a 2-0 game. Jeremy Guthrie has sorted things out very effectively. He has stranded 5 on base so far. Hot shot. Big hop for Hosmer. He's got plenty of time. He'll step on the bag. 1 down. So Burley and Guthrie have both been able to pitch around trouble. Juan Francisco hit the ball to right field in the fourth that should have been the first out of the inning. Aoki misplayed it into a leadoff double.
And he ends up scoring. That's the Blue Jays' second run to build that 2-0 lead, and that's a huge run at this point in time.
Anthony Ghost takes a curveball in the dirt.
Jeremy Guthrie has only given up 1 earned run in each of his last 2 outings, but nothing to show for it. A loss and a no decision. Just has not gotten the run support from his lineup.
The lineup overall had been struggling prior to coming into this 4-game series, and so much so that they made a change at the hitting coach position. Dale Swain was the hitting coach at the start of this series on Thursday. Swain moved from the third base coach's box to the hitting coach, and Pedro Gafal moved into the catching instructor role. So they made some changes, and that helped them to the first 2 wins of the series. Ghost strikes out. Two down. Sportsnet.ca's MLB insiders cover every angle of the Toronto Blue Jays. Follow Shai Davidi, taking you beyond the bases with in-depth analysis and expert opinion. It's the Inside Scoop. Shai Davidi, MLB insider only on Sportsnet.ca. Reyes drives it up the middle. Infante will not throw him out. Reyes with his first hit of the afternoon, a 2-out single.
Nice job by Infante just getting to this ball. You see how far he had to range to his right, go to his backhand, but with his momentum taking him into center field, no chance getting someone with the speed of Reyes.
So Reyes with the 2-out single, getting some last-minute instruction from Tim Leeper, first base coach. Reyes is 11 for 12 in stolen bases, and it's a pretty good time to gamble. You're up by 2. You got Cabrera at the plate, who will take a pitch or 2 to give you a chance to steal.
And that's the benefit of being up a couple of runs later in the game like this, is even if you get thrown out, it's not a big a deal. If you're down a run or a tie ball game, you want to be much more careful.
That's the best defense for a pitcher, to guard against the stolen base. Strike 1.
First pitch strike. This might be the pitch right here if Jose's going to take a shot, anticipating an off-speed pitch.
Guthrie has had 8 steal attempts. Only 2 base runners have been caught. That's about the league average, 25%. We mentioned the Gold Glove catcher, Sal Perez. He has caught 7 of 25. Again, right at the league average.
And Guthrie does a pretty good job getting the ball to the plate rather quickly. Around 1.2 seconds or better all the time.
Melky laces it down the left side.
You give a catcher like Sal Perez that kind of time, he'll get a lot of base runners. But it's an off-speed pitch, and those are the variables that you cannot account for. An off-speed pitch, perhaps it goes down and in or down and away in the zone. Much more difficult pitch for a catcher to handle to make an accurate throw to second base.
Off the end of the bat, Moustakas will have to go to first. Makes a nice play. Never been a problem with his glove. That ends the 7th. We've played 7 complete. Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead. Everybody having fun at Rogers Center on Blue Jays Country Day. They had some line dancing, a little Texas two-step. They had country band out in center field, and everybody got a cowboy hat. New defense for the Jays. Steve Tollison comes in to play second base, and with that, Laurie moves from second to third. This is a pop-up into shallow center field. Tollison back. He gets there and makes the catch. Mark Burley, 1 out here in the 8th, 7 in the 3rd. Very strong.
Mark Burley has been Mark Burley. We've seen it all. Getting Kansas City Royals hitters to chase balls out of the zone. Walking righties up with that cutter inside. He just uses both sides of the plate, changes speeds, and just continues to get people to chase his pitches.
Eric Hosmer takes one off the plate inside. What a master. He has done a terrific job all season long, and he's looking for his 10th win of the season here today. This is popped up and playable. Brett Laurie drifting back into left field. 2 down.
Celebrate and save during Home's 50th anniversary sale. Only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
2 outs in the 8th, and Burley letting the outfielders get back in position in center field. Billy Butler has gone 0 for 3 so far this afternoon. Popped up. Encarnacion will watch it sail into the seats. We mentioned Burley looking for his 10th win of the season. And if he can keep it a Blue Jays win today, he would join Roger Clemens as the only pitcher in Blue Jays history to have 10 wins on June 1st. Clemens did that in 1997. That's pretty elite company.
That's being pretty efficient with your starts.
This is his 12th start. Clemens was 10-0 on June 1st of 97. Clemens went on to win the Cy Young Award in 97 and in 98. You asked Mark Burley, he said, it's way too early to talk about that. Ground ball, Laurie ranging wide of third, loops it right on the money. Pretty as a picture. That closes out the Royals in the top of the 8th. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn. My hungry man, try new pulled pork.
Brett Laurie doing a nice job right here. The bunt defense is on, but the ball's hit hard right at him at second base. He says, if I can get this out, I'll get the lead runner. Fired a strike over to Juan Francisco after a little bit of a rundown. Jose Reyes puts the tag on him. Heads up play right here by Brett Laurie, and a ball hit to the right side of the infield.
Juan Francisco, I'm sure, has heard from Luis Rivera. He should have continued to run towards second base and force Escobar back to the bank. Brett Laurie, what a terrific play to end the inning. He made a good throw on the move, right on the money, to throw out Billy Butler to end the 8th. New pitcher into the ball game is the hard-throwing right-hander Aaron Crow to face Jose Bautista here in the 8th.
Crow's making his 26th appearance. Done a nice job out of that bullpen for the Royals. Worked a scoreless 7th here Friday night, allowing a hit and a walk.
Bautista goes after the first pitch. Moustakas dives and throws him out. Another good play by Mike Moustakas. We mentioned the fact he's a terrific defender, and he's had no problems in the field. His only weak point right now is that bat.
Well, he's been given another opportunity here. Showing the glove right here, though, making a nice dive and play. Coming up, firing a strike. Great footwork here by Eric Hosmer at first base. That's where a first baseman has to make that adjustment, and very difficult anytime you're going into the runner like that.
Throw was offline a bit. Hosmer did a good job. Bautista sliding to avoid that throw. That's new. Adam Lind takes the first pitch.
Hey, it's been working for him. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, I guess. He's feeling pretty good in the batter's box right now. Talked about, I understand, especially your first at bat, seeing the starter for your first time, or Crow coming out of the bullpen right now, but he does it almost every time.
Yeah, he has the third lowest percentage of swings at first pitches in all of baseball. J.J. Harding of the Orioles swings at the fewest first pitches. 4.9% of the first pitches he sees he swings at. Then Martin Prado, followed by Lind. Lind and Matt Carpenter of the Cardinals tied at 7.9% of swings on first pitches.
And if it works for you, why not? Adam Lind has had success. Obviously, he doesn't fear going deep into the count. As a matter of fact, as a hitter, sometimes you figure if you're feeling good in the batter's box and your swing feels good, you're seeing the ball well, you figure the more pitches you see from a pitcher, the more likely he may leave one over the plate for you.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Way outside. The Blue Jays have changed their offensive personality dramatically. As a team, they swing at the 3rd fewest pitches on first pitch in baseball. Only Minnesota and Boston are more patient than the Blue Jays on first pitch.
Kevin Seitzer's philosophy, of course, we talk about the way he preaches working up the middle and the other way and staying on the ball and all those wonderful things, but some good swings are, or a good approach is getting a good pitch to hit.
Boy, what an at bat for Lind. Another 2-hit day for Adam Lind. 2 for 4.
But that's what he's been doing right there, and he's just works the count. He continues to not fear hitting with 2 strikes. And again, the more pitches you see, Crow kind of hangs this breaking ball in the inner half, is the same way he got a base hit earlier today. Just feels very comfortable.
Edwin Encarnacion has reached base 3 times today. He walked, reached on a fielder's choice, and doubled. He hit a 1-hop bullet off the wall down in the left field corner. Alex Gordon made a terrific throw, made it close at second, but Encarnacion was safe with a head-first slide. Long, deep drive to left. This ball is gone. Welcome to June. Who cares what month it is? Number 19.
Well, Edwin took a day off yesterday from hitting one into the seats, so he just resumed right where he left off, crushing this ball from Crow as a fastball, and he lined it right over the left field fence. See the 2-seam fastball, but it didn't move too much, fairly straight, and if anything, right in the inner half of the plate. Edwin's all over that pitch.
4-0 Jays. Adam Lind with a terrific at bat, got a 3-2 base hit, and then Encarnacion delivers a 2-run homer. Steve Tollefson batting for the first time, strikes out in the place of Juan Francisco. Tollefson took over defensively in the top half of the inning. Mark Burley says, I'm going back out there. Good job. Burley takes off his sweatshirt. They got a 4-run cushion. He's looking down at John Gibbons, says, I'll go back out there now. Casey Jansen had started throwing, but then when Encarnacion hit the 2-run homer, the save opportunity faded away. Mark Burley takes his sweatshirt off and says, I'm not done yet, boys. Laurie outran that great throw. Ned Yost is going to come out to contest the call, and we'll probably go to review.
A good hustle by Brett Laurie getting down the line. It was a ground ball. Moustakas did everything right. He fielded the ball, but look at the hustle by Laurie legging that thing out. When you smell a hit, you put it in another gear.
And they are going to review the play. Laurie is ruled safe at first. And they're going to the review. There were 2 outs. We're in the bottom of the 8th. Hosmer won an infield hit as it was held up on review here last night. Yesterday afternoon, actually. So now he's saying, you know what, I got mine. And they're probably saying, I hope you get yours. Another look at the replay.
I'm not sure Brett Lawrie's going to win this one. It is very close, but there may be a little daylight between the foot of Brett Lawrie and the base as this ball enters the glove of Hosmer. Now the question is, because Brett Lawrie was ruled safe on the field, there has to be convincing evidence here.
Now, the umpire who's making the call, Angel Hernandez, has the benefit of hearing the 2 distinctly different sounds. The foot hitting the base and the ball popping into the pocket of the glove.
And that's what makes it very interesting, because when you can use your ear to hear that ball entering the glove, they don't do that in New York. They're watching video like we are, so you don't get those 2 distinct sounds.
For Laurie, it would mean a 1-for-4 day or a 2-for-4 day. They're taking a long time now. Larry Vanover, the crew chief, has the decision, and they call him out. So they had convincing evidence to overturn the call on the field. Laurie loses an infield hit. We'll go to the 9th. Mark Burley, is he coming out or not? Nope. It's going to be Aaron Luke coming out of the bullpen. Burley is done. He'll leave with a 6-hit shutout. Is done after 8 spectacular innings, 6 hits, no earned runs. He's walked the batter and struck out 3 through 102 pitches, and Burley lowers his ERA to 2.10.
Well, it was classic Mark Burley. We've been watching it for 2 months now, and it just seems to be a broken record every time out. Continues to do the same thing.
Burley will drop into the 2nd spot in the American League in ERA. Tanaka has a 2.06 ERA, and Burley now 2.10. Loop is on the mound. Kevin Pillar is in left. A couple of changes here in the top of the 9th. Alex Gordon takes that first pitch breaking ball.
Aaron Loop riding a 12 and a 3rd scoreless inning streak right now. Has not allowed a run last 15 appearances. 1 run.
Luke has been pounding that strike zone with all 3 pitches. Curveball, fastball, and changeup. He threw the curveball to get ahead, the big sweeping breaking ball, and then got the fastball fouled off. He's ahead 0-2. That thing looks like it breaks 10 feet.
Like a frisbee. frisbee slider. A little tough on lefties, too, the way he throws across his body.
Strike 3 called. That crossfire fastball catches the outside corner. 1 down in the 9th.
Aaron Loup throws across his body, and he's got the 3/4 arm angle. And again, not just that pitch, but the pitch before was that sweeping slider away. This fastball right here just locks him up.
Sal Perez goes after the first pitch. Reyes gobbles it up and throws him out. Kansas City down to their final out. Aaron Loup on in relief of Mark Burley. Blue Jays have had 2 shutouts at home. Strike 1. They've had 7 shutouts overall during the season. They've been shut out once. Wicked changeup.
Aaron Loup's got 3 pitches. When he's throwing them for strikes, he's very effective, and he's been on a roll of late.
Still good. Encarnacion at second. Ball game. Aaron Loup with a perfect inning. Mark Burley with his 10th win matches Roger Clemens for the most wins on June 4th. Only 2 pitchers in franchise history have done that.
Mark Burley was masterful yet again today. Again, he defines the art of pitching, working both sides of the plate, soft, hard, running it in on the righties, and we saw him do it all. And there's his battery mate right there, Dioner Navarro, doing a tremendous job again, putting the fingers down for Burley, and also getting the Jays on the board with that solo home run in the 2nd inning. That's all Mark Burley needed today.
That wraps up an 8-2 homestand as the Blue Jays righted the ship after losing the first 2 to Kansas City. 4-0 shutout. Blue Jays are off tomorrow. We will see you Tuesday night from Detroit. Thanks for watching. Here's Blue Jays Central, Greg Zahn and Jamie Campbell.